Welcome. I am author D.M. Patterson, and in this video, I am going to talk a little bit about my Cambodia project and the response I had to rereading the book, The Killing Fields. I do plan on focusing on character development next, so the next 2 or 3 videos are going to be focused on character development. I do also want to say, though I want to keep my channel family friendly, this is a very somber topic. So if you are not in a place right now where you want to hear about something somber, go ahead and skip this video or come back to it later. I completely understand. If you are unaware of what I mean by my Cambodia project, I will link my Cambodia project video down below in the description so you can listen to that. I started my project by rereading The Killing Fields. This book I bought in Cambodia the day before we went to visit the Killing Fields and the museum that was S21. Now, S21 was a school that the Khmer Rouge converted to a place of torture. It's not mentioned in this book, but it is close to the Killing Fields in Phnom Penh. I will give a very brief description of this book. It follows Sidney Schonberg, who was a journalist for the New York Times, and his Cambodian interpreter and fellow journalist, Dith Pran. They were both in Phnom Penh when the Khmer Rouge took over. Both Schonberg and Pran had the opportunity to escape Cambodia when the Khmer Rouge first took over. They decided not to. They wanted to stay in Phnom Penh and report on what was going on so the world would know that things were happening in Cambodia, not just Vietnam. Now, Schonberg was able to get Dith Pran's family out of Cambodia and in safely into the United States. What follows the initial evacuation is Dith Pran and Schonberg witnessing what the Khmer Rouge were doing. They evacuated all of the citizens out of Phnom Penh into the country. Eventually, Schonberg was forced to leave Cambodia to go back to the United States, and Dith Pran was captured by the Khmer Rouge. After 4 years of forced labor, starvation, and witnessing some very tragic things, Dith Pran was able to escape, eventually made his way to Thailand, where Schonberg finds him. Schonberg then is able to reunite Dith Pran with his family after 5 years of absence. Even though I started with the book that I had read before, and I knew that Dith Pran would survive and be able to come back to the United States with his family, and that Schonberg would be reunited with his friend again, reading it with this project in mind brought a new level of emotion for me. When I finished reading the book this time, I went on YouTube to see if I could find some interviews with Dith Pran and/or Sidney Schonberg. Now, I will say that there was a movie created from this book. I was about to say I recommend it, but please keep in mind the subject of this movie and pay attention to the audience that may be watching it with you. I learned from the YouTube videos that I watched that it was Dith Pran's passion to make people aware of what his people went through. He wanted the world to know that Cambodia suffered greatly. Unfortunately, during a time where the Vietnam War took over a lot of the news, and many people did not know what was going on in Cambodia at the time. Something I learned while watching these videos is Dith Pran put together a book of memoirs, The Children of Cambodia's Killing Fields. And as soon as I realized that he had put a book together, I bought it. And this is going to be added to the books that I am researching and reading to add this layer of historical information to my book. But as I was watching these YouTube videos and seeing Dith Pran's passion to let the world know what his people went through, I started wondering, what would he think of my project? Would he be happy and grateful that it is 2022 and there is someone who is interested and also making sure that more people are aware of what happened in Cambodia? Or would he say, "How dare you?" And a lot of self-doubt came in. I really started to think that I was not the right person to write this. I began to understand the enormity of what I had taken on, and I began to think that my voice was not the right one. I have no idea what kind of suffering they went through. I can't even imagine it. I can't even fathom the scenes that he described that he saw, and it's not fake. It is real life. And I began to wonder if I could show the right respect, if I was going to do something wrong, or if people would look at my project and think, what do you know? Why would you write this? Why would you take this on? You're just a tourist. You were just a typical American tourist going through Cambodia. I know I've talked about self-doubt before. It is something that can stop a great many people from doing wonderful things. It's very hard when that sets in, and I will probably have this haunting me the entire time I try to write this project, thinking, I'm not the right person for this. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be writing this because I have no idea what kind of suffering they have gone through. I certainly wasn't expecting that to slam so hard into me, but it did. And after a while, I picked myself back up and I said, you know what? I enjoy challenge. Sometimes I feel like if you have a lot of doubt and if there is a lot of fear, it's probably a sign that it's something that does need to be done. I don't have this much fear of people reading other books that I've written and not understanding what I'm trying to do. I did not have this much respect for the subject because it was all stories from my head. It wasn't anything that I was trying to depict that was realistic, that I wanted to give respect and show what happened that was awful, horrible, atrocious, and with an absolutely no idea of the kind of suffering, never experiencing, not even starvation. I've never experienced going without the things that I need. I've always been provided for. So when that self-doubt comes back, I'm going to look through those YouTube videos again, and I'm going to say to Dith Pran, I'm also trying to make sure that people don't forget. And maybe you won't appreciate it coming from me, but maybe you will, and maybe others will too. But I want to say that I see you. I see what you went through, and I don't want people to forget either. And I hope that when it's finished, it's something that he would be proud of. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. And now, go write.